Good evening, good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to see you all and to meet all of you after so many months of communicating online and meetings over Zoom. My name is Hassan. I work at the Africa Institute. I wanted to welcome Hoor Qasimi, President of the Africa Institute, to give the welcoming remarks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Satan. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm sure it was a late night for everybody watching the football last night, so thank you for being here on time. It's with pleasure that I welcome you all to the launching of the third season of the Africa Institute's Country Focus series titled Thinking the Archipelago, which focuses on Africa's Indian Ocean islands. It's also with pleasure and much gratitude that I welcome the convening scholars, Professors Rogaya Abu Sharaf from Georgetown University, Qatar, Jeremy Prestold from University of California, San Diego, and Uday Chandra, also from Georgetown, Qatar, who worked very closely for the last few months with the staff of the Africa Institute to develop a detailed cultural and scholarly program to celebrate the season. To give you a brief background, the Africa Institute organizes a season of scholarly, cultural, and artistic activities in various media and genres that focus on one country or area from the African continent or one of the African diaspora communities worldwide, North and South America, Europe, Middle East, Caribbean, Asia, among others. This series of country-focused activities is intended to highlight the complex history of the African world while also providing a forum for creatively engaging its present and imagining new futures. As some of you are aware, we have concluded this past year, despite the pandemic and limitations it has put on our abilities to move around, our second country-focused season on Ghana. I'm very pleased to emphasize that the Commission scholars have delivered a very rich program that includes a 4-part interdisciplinary scholar conference. The first one is titled Reimagining Mobilities and Immobilities in the Indian Ocean. The remaining 3 will be held throughout 2023 and are titled Legacies of Race and Slavery in the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, Intertwined Ecologies and Interconnected Histories and Colorful Threads, the Interwoven Worlds of Art and Culture in the Western Indian Ocean. The multidisciplinary program will also include a film festival, a series of musical performances, a stage theatrical performance, and an exhibition, etc. Once again, welcome to today's conference. Thank you, Professors Rogaya Abu Sharaf, Jeremy Presold, and Uday Chandra. And I'd like to pass on the mic to my colleague, Director Salah Hassan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hoor. And good morning and warm greetings to everyone. I add my voice, of course, to Hoor in expressing my warm welcome to all of you to the launching of the third season of the Africa Institute Country Focus. Of course, this time it's an archipelago, not one nation. And it's also with pleasure and much gratitude I add my voice to Hoor too in thanking the convening scholars, Professors Rogaya Mustafa Abu Sharaf, Georgetown University, Qatar, Jeremy Presold, University of California, San Diego, and Uday Chandra, also from Georgetown University, Qatar, who worked really very closely, as Hoor said, for the last year and a half, to kind of bring us to this stage of having you all here, a gathering of definitely great minds who are in the field of Indian Ocean. And a special thanks to a word of gratitude to my dear friend and Sudanese compatriot and patriot, the daughter of Umdurman, Rogaya Mustafa Abu Sharaf, for bringing this project to us. And I also want to ask you to give a round of applause and a special gratitude to Satan. Please stand wherever you are. Who is our Associate Director for Administration and Operation, and also Sarah Magdi. Where are you, Sarah? Is she around? Okay. Both have really worked very hard, day and night, and at odd hours, I must say, because I suffer from this too, to organize this conference and to allow us to gather here today in this beautiful, bright Sharjah morning. I say this just to tease some of you who came from snow countries. I'm happy to avoid the one in Ithaca today. There's a snowstorm in process or in progress. I must also express my gratitude to our communication team, and I will mention them here, and I hope they can stand up as I mentioned them. Ahmad Mustafa, Magna Kalvani, Aisha Al-Hamadi, Amal Al-Mulla, all of them in the back, Abdurrahman, Saif, Farida, and to Abdul Aziz, who many of you must have seen him, doing a lot. And our IT team in the back there, Sharif Noor, Vijay and Sirinj, and also Reem, and among many others that I can't all mention, but those are people who soldiered behind the scene to make this conference possible. Now I just want you, for the sake of people who don't know that much about the Africa Institute, I thought I'd just give a quick, kind of briefing about its history, origin, and our programs. I hope you bear with me, and I hope I'm not taking too much time. Okay, because you kept looking at your watch. Okay. Okay. So anyway. Oh, okay. So. Those who do this make me nervous, but let me. Okay. So, okay. This is to progress. Okay. The Africa Institute, if I must say, just briefly about its history, it's actually the origin of it is in a conference that was held here under His Highness, under the patronage of His Highness, Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi, who called for a conference in coordination with three Sudanese scholars, Professor Yusuf Fadl, and the late Muhammad Umar Bashir, and also the late Jamal Muhammad Ahmed, who gathered about 45 scholars from across the spectrum of African studies and Arabic studies, including names like Ali Mazroui from Africa, and people like Hisham Sharabi, Abdullah Al-Arawi from Morocco, among others, who gathered here in their youth days, and we have actually very beautiful footages from those days. And among the recommendation of this conference, this is the newspaper at the day of the conference itself. It's called Al-Ittihad, for some of you who don't know Arabic, but it talks about the focus on the gathering itself. Here is Dr. Sheikh Sultan bin Muhammad Al-Qasimi and Dr. Yusuf Fadl, we're really blessed that he's still alive and actually visited recently and gave us all the papers for the conference, which we intend to publish. Amazing. And these are just scenes from the conference. And just briefly, what I actually wanted to say is that conference had the recommendation of establishing a Center for the Study of Afro-Arab Relations, which is fast forward 40 years after it became the Africa Institute. So it's not only on, but it's only on Afro-Arab relations, which is a main focus, but also on global Africa. So it's not really continental Africa, it's global Africa. So diaspora is also one of our. So these are just the steps we made. We managed to gather a great group of colleagues as faculty, who some of you may know. But I'm very pleased that despite even the pandemic, we managed to gather this group of wonderful, accomplished scholars. And we established programs, postdoctoral fellowships. We named them after different people. Toni Morrison, which is for African diaspora literature and culture studies. In our mind, the diaspora. Ali Mazroui is known to be a global African scholar. We named one for him. These are two senior scholars, senior fellowships, and then one after the late also Okwe Nwezo, which is in visual culture, performance studies, and critical humanities, and then Fatma Mernissi fellowship on social and cultural studies, mostly focused on gender and sexuality studies. You would just gather from this, we try to symbolically represent the diaspora, but also the continent, and we balance the gender. There are two women. Oh, it's coming, the other one, okay. And then we also had a great creative writers in resident fellowship. And this was named after the late Tejmula Olaniyan. Some of you who are in African studies would know him, very active, a literary scholar who's also in drama and was also in critical theory. So he has a very close relationship with us as we started, establishing this institute. We thought about honoring him. We also have a Global Africa Translation Fellowship, which is in its third year actually, right, iteration. These are just some of the wonderful faces of our fellows. Some of them are in the audience here. And it has been a wonderful experience with them. And over the years, we have gathered many friends among them. These are just some of the seminars. We continue to hold the seminars as we were working also on the licensing and accreditation of our program. And I forgot to say that it's only a postgraduate, it's a PhD, a postgraduate program focusing in the humanities and social sciences, but with an interdisciplinary focus. And we're hoping by 2023, maximum 2024, we'll accept our first student. We're going to start with a soft launching. If you have students who are interested, this is a great place to study. And Harvard will think of us as the model, not the other way around at some point. They're not great in African studies anyway. So we started also scholarly conferences that brought in filmmakers, like in this case, an early conference on African-American art, Black art specifically, that focused on abstraction. And we did also a conference on, it's called Africa and African Diaspora Studies, the state of the discipline. And we brought really the state of the discipline, scholars too, who are really gathered here to think about the future of African studies. And then we started the country-focused season, which is, we started with Ethiopia, and we are lucky to have among us also Elizabeth Georges, who's sitting in the back there, and other colleagues who also worked, like you, Jeremy, and Rugaya and Oday, in organizing the Ethiopia focus season. Then we had the Ghana season, which also had a group of 40 scholars who also organized the season. And we usually do the season here and in the country also. Like we do a conference here and we do the second iteration of it in Ghana. So we wanted it to be a two-way exchange. But in the process, we are establishing relationship with those institutions in the ground, in the continent. And there are, other, these are part of the Ghana conference itself. And then we end up now in our third iteration of the season. We moved from, as we call it, continental or nationwide thinking to the archipelago or archipelagic, whatever you call it, thinking. I always have difficulty with this word for a long time. So we focus on the Indian Ocean, at least thinking, as they say, beyond continental thinking, as Edouard Glissot would say. And also, we had so many performances by musicians. This is the daughter of Nina Simone, as you may know. Some of you probably attended it. She's not as great as Nina Simone, but she's good. But it's okay. Anyway, don't record this. Performances. We've also performed a great play with a Ghanaian scholar, a Ghanaian playwright. It's called Muhammad bin Abdullah. That is called The Song of the Pharaoh. We staged it in Ghana. And we had also art exhibitions that goes with the season, like this one of Ida Moloney, the Ethiopian photographer artist that went with the Ethiopia season. We also did the show of a very well-known photographer of the era of sorry? Oh, J.J. Rawlings. I just, for a minute, escaped me, his name escaped me. Gerald Enan Forson is the artist, actually. He's very well known in documenting that era, which is a very tumultuous era in the history of Ghana. And it was a great way to honor him. We also had, series on cinema. We started a series of publication in which we collaborated with different publishers. This one on the memoir of a well-known Sudanese artist, another one on artists. It's called The Door of No Return, on artists who deal with the issue of slavery and enslavement, and then a focus on Ahmed Mursi, the Egyptian surrealist. And then we started a series called, African Writings, or Writing Africa. It's in Arabic and in English. These are just series of small books. We figure out that people sometimes get bored with these scary, hefty books. And then we initiated Monsoon, thanks also to Jeremy, Uday, and to Ruqayya for this collaboration that will start with this peer-reviewed journal. And this is just to give you a glimpse of the design. The first issue in U.A.E to be published, and then all these conferences related to the Indian Ocean will be published in several series. This is just a glimpse of what the design will look like. And the logo is wonderful, thanks to your intervention, Jeremy, that led to this. We struggled a lot with it, but thank you. It's a great graphic, like all our graphics. So this is just to give you a glimpse of how it's designed. And then I must say one thing that I shouldn't forget is that in every issue, we will host an artist. So we don't want it to make it just a boring peer-reviewed journal. So we will have an artist who we commissioned to do the illustration, but is also to do the cover. And in this, we are really happy to have Naiza Khan. You're carrying all these bags and merchandise. It's all thanks to her. So the image that you've seen in the conference. Yeah. And this is just a glimpse of the collaborations of the institution that we work with. And let me just end with a quick review that you can actually see it in a room next door of our future campus. Although this is also a great place and a great architecture too, I want you also to look through this school. Thanks to the effort of Hoor al-Qasimi of preserving these and her effort to preserve this architecture. This is a 70s architecture, and if you really move around, you will see how it is really perfect for the climate of Sharjah. So this is our future campus. It's just a glimpse of it. You can see a model in another room, and this is what it will look like. Hopefully we'll have it by 2024. We hope so. And this is the library, a theater, and another view at night, in the evening. This is where we are. It's not there yet, but this is where it will look like if you visit us after 2024. And this is just, and you should help me here. What should I do? Wait. Okay. The music is not that great, but it's okay. But bear with us. It's okay. Gets better. Thank you so much. So please join me in welcoming Jeremy Threshold to give a few words on behalf of the convening committee. Come on.